Imagine if you never slept. Think about the time you could dedicate to productive use. Imagine if you didn't have to work. Think about the time you could have used for your side hustle. Imagine if your chores were done for you. You get the point. You would get more time. It sounds like that's what you need. But the truth is, why are you chasing more time, especially time that you cannot get? When the time you have every day is not being put to use, and mindlessly being exchanged for things that don't progress your life in any way. This is the time you need to take back control of. I come across people saying I don't have time for this, or I don't have time for that. You might have less time than others, but you can make time, no matter how busy you are. Saying when I have time, or I do not have time, is a coping mechanism to not getting the job done. So stop wasting your precious time and apply the ways I am about to give you. And give yourself the power to decide when you want to procrastinate and when you want to be productive. The first way is to plan every day in advance. One of the most important types of time is the time you spend thinking, deciding, and planning how you're going to achieve the things you really want in life. And the biggest waste of time is setting off without a clear and specific plan. Most people throw themselves at life, doing their best and hoping something good will happen to them. But hope is not a strategy. It is a recipe for disaster. Working as it goes without planning is a path back to procrastination. Working without planning will force you to stop when you don't feel like it, and when you don't know what to do next. So sit down and write a whole list of what you have to do and when you're going to do it. Begin today. Plan every day, week, and month in advance. Take a notepad and make a list of everything you have to do in the next 24 hours. Add to your list as new items come up. Lay out each of your major goals, projects, or tasks by priority. What has to be done first, what comes second, and so forth. Think on paper. Always work from a list. You'll be surprised at how much more productive you become and how much easier it is to stop procrastination. The second way is to train your focus. Your ability to focus single-mindedly on your most important task will help you develop far quicker with whatever it is you're doing, more than any other factor. But most people can't focus long enough. Phone interruptions break their focus and distract them from their work, stopping the results needed to get successful. And this is just one example of a distraction. Also, the idea of multitasking draws in many people. They believe they can do many tasks at once. But experts have found that multitasking is basically just task shifting. In other terms, switching back and forth between several tasks, rarely focusing on any one for very long. Even worse, it takes around 17 minutes to refocus on an essential activity after being sidetracked for whatever reason. All serious work needs full focus for a long period of time until the task is finished. Focus, fortunately, is a skill or habit that can be learned with practice and repetition until it becomes effortless and automatic. As much as people's focus and attention span has dissolved during this age of social media, it's time for you to bring it back. But how do you learn this skill? The key is to start slow. First of all, eliminate everything around you that may cause distraction. This includes your phone, even YouTube running in the background or the noise of those around you. Find the closest thing to emptiness and silence you can find. Now, set a timer for a block of 15 minutes. In these 15 minutes, you must do whatever it takes to not move your head away from your activity. It is all mental work. The idea is to work with no distractions and no breaks, full focus, even if it is not quality time, because you will develop that later on. Once you finish these 15 minutes successfully without any distraction, and you repeat this a couple more times, it is now time for 30-minute productivity blocks. Once you master that, then it is time for 45-minute blocks, and you keep going until you become competent enough to focus for up to 4 hours straight. As simple as it sounds, this is a skill that if you do work for, will separate you from 99% of the population. And I mean it. If you want to work through life at a ×4 speed, this is the skill to learn. On average, people can't focus longer than 20 minutes. So if you want to work at 4, 8, or literally 12 times the average person, master this skill, regardless of how difficult it may be at the beginning. And like I said, the key is to slowly build this up. The third way is to incentivize yourself. By placing some value on procrastination, you can make procrastination a reward that must be earned, and not just given, as if you are collecting tokens for every hour of work to trade for free time. For instance, once you spend 2 hours on a project, you reward yourself by going out for lunch. Or once you finish a job, you can take time to watch a film. This keeps you in control of your time. So when you do want to procrastinate, instead of doing it there and then, you will have to work for it, keeping you in control of your time. The rewards don't have to be big or lavish. They just have to be things you want to do. And if rewards are not a powerful incentive, try penalties instead. For example, if you don't spend 2 hours on a side hustle, you can't hang out with friends or go on your phone. The idea is to attach the penalty to something you enjoy doing, so you won't ignore a task. The fourth way is to change your way of thinking. Instead of viewing every task as something you hate, you've got to reframe them as opportunities to better yourself. I don't care if you don't like studying or if you don't like working. You are going to have to find a way to convince and prove to yourself that this will benefit you in some way. Reframing tasks makes you feel more motivated and engaged in your work, leading to productivity and better results. Think of the current task as a stepping stone to something bigger, something you want more than the quick gratification of procrastination. By developing a growth mindset, you'll keep yourself working even when you don't feel like it. The fifth way is to eliminate things stopping you. Between where you are right now and your objective, there is an important roadblock that has to be removed. And it's all up to you to find it. What is stopping you from doing what has to be done? What is determining how fast you move from where you are to where you want to go? Why aren't you at your goal already? These are questions that you can't leave unanswered. These are some of the most important questions you will have to ask yourself to achieve a high level of productivity and effectiveness. In whatever you do, there will always be a limiting factor, deciding how quickly and how well you get it done. Your job is to study the task and point out the thing limiting you. It could be a friend that is ruining your focus, telling you to come do this and come do that, while you have a whole list of things to go through. Find it, so when it comes up again, you will know how to deal with it. If you want to keep leveling up as a man, be here for the next.